Hey, this is Bolo at LTAPerformance, and in this video you will discover how to keep fat off for good. It is so frustrating to lose weight and then regain the weight. Sadly, numbers shows a very highly likely chance that you'll regain the weight. I'm going to show you to not have that trend happen for yourself with the right methods that you need to have happen so you can have fat off for good and have the body that you love. So be sure to like and subscribe to this channel. So keeping fat off for good is the real problem you need to solve. It's not losing weight. Contrary to popular belief, losing weight isn't the hardest thing. The hardest thing is keeping fat off for good. This is why within my coaching, I focus on not weight loss, but keeping fat off for good. Because I understand how agonizing it is to regain weight and start back over and then have it happen again. That is so frustrating. Let's do the opposite. Let's understand how to keep fat off for good. I've done it for so many of my clients, hundreds in fact, have been able to keep that weight off for good. So where does it all start? What do you need to focus on to make this happen? Well, first off, it starts off with prioritizing muscle. A lot of times when you look at these popular weight loss programs, they do not prioritize muscle. Now, yes, your diet is very, very important for you to lose weight, but it may be causing you to regain weight if it's at a loss for muscle. The reason muscle is so important is because that active tissue in your body has to boost your metabolism. So not only do you look great with having more muscle, but it actually has important functions for your body that's going to help you keep fat off for good. So within your diet, if you're not prioritizing making sure that you're eating enough protein so that you can maintain your muscle mass and build it, you will lose muscle. And when you lose muscle at a high rate, your metabolism goes down. So yes, you may lose weight. You're probably not going to have the desirable image you want because you're losing the muscle, but also it won't help when you're trying to keep the weight off. It is so important that you understand that with your diet, it's not just about being in that calorie deficit, which is important to lose the weight, but it's also about making sure that it's working for your body so that you can have long-term success. Your goals might be short-term, which is fine, but remember, you can't lose sight of the bigger picture, and that's you having longevity in your life and being in the best shape even when you're getting older. So it's so important that within your diet that you understand that by fueling your body correctly for that muscle. And then of course, it comes within what you do within your workouts and your exercise. If you do endless cardio and you overwork yourself and you lose muscle, it isn't going to help you. You have to understand that resistance training, so it's any type of training that you may put on your body as far as adding resistance, if it's weights, dumbbells, even your own body weight, is going to be very important for yourself to be able to build that muscle and keep it off for good. This is so important for yourself. You need to make sure that you're able to do that. It's why within what I do with my clients, I tell them, I'm going to make you into a muscle machine. The reason why, if I make them into a muscle machine with them being able to optimize the muscle mass in their body, they're able to see the difference not only in how they look, but within how their body will operate for long-term success. This is a part that you cannot lose sight on when you're starting these weight loss programs. It's very important. So of course, you prioritizing that muscle is going to make a big difference, right? It's going to be able to boost that metabolism and help you in that process at keeping the fat off. But that is one part, but you also need to understand everything you're doing with what your habits are about sustainability. The reason why regain is so high is because there's habits that you're forming that you're not putting to work as far as being able to sustain for yourself. Think of it this way. It's just like investments. you think an investment, you understand that the investment is going to build for you and it's going to work for you as the years go on and on. Well, you want the same thing to work within your healthy habits. The habits that you're putting together is an investment into yourself. You want it to help work for you long term. And then for that to happen, you have to make sure the habits you're instilling are great. So let's not lose sight of things that don't get talked about enough, right? We know you have to be in a calorie deficit, but there's some things you can do that are going to be very unhealthy for yourself. That's really not going to better yourself within your health. So if you're not sleeping great, which sleep for long-term success is so important because eventually it will catch up to you if you don't have great sleeping habits. So if you're trying to lose weight and you're not correcting your sleep and you're still sleeping poorly, it's not going to help you. You need to focus on understanding how sleep is so important for you. Or if you're not focusing on how much water you intake each and every day, because hydration is so important, and you still suffer from lack of hydration, you're not setting yourself to build on those habits that are sustainable. Remember, there's things that could be missing and that you may not see even though you may be getting results. So you may be stepping on the scale and you're seeing weight, come off, which, like I said, for many, it's not the hardest thing to lose the weight, but it's actually keeping it off. So they see the wins, they see what's happening, and they don't see the bigger picture of why it's not going to be sustainable. If you're following a popular fad diet that is only focusing on very restrictive practices, and it's very simple and easy for you to do, but if that is not the lifestyle that you want to live ultimately within your diet, and you go back to eating how you were before, you just lost sight of the most important thing, and that's having time work for you and the consistency. So now you're regaining more weight because, just as I mentioned, it's not prioritizing the things that are going to matter for you. So you need to understand, what are you exactly doing right now? Because without sustainability, you're lost. You're lost. It's not going to happen for you. You will only be able to lose weight in the short term, but quickly regain it. So you need to focus on understanding to build habits, understanding that the routine is everything. If you're not focusing on this part too, right? If you're not focusing on understanding the sustainability as far as how your energy is directed and how your positivity is, or how the other things in your life that you need to appreciate, does it come full circle? Are you working on other goals as well? Right? Are you working on other goals that actually are aligned within you being healthy? Because if you have other goals that align with you being healthy, it works really well. But if you have goals that are not aligning with you being healthy, then you might have a problem. Are there other things that you're working on in your life that actually drains from you, is not positive for you, but you think it is? Well, you're going to have a problem with that when you're trying to live this healthy lifestyle, but you don't have other things in your life that aligns with it. So you really need to understand how important that sustainability is. It's so important for you to be able to see results, not just for the instant baby gratification you may have for this ongoing, thing that you might have within the trip or something like that, but you need to focus on, how can I sustain it? How can I make this investment into my health pay off within my longevity of living the life I want, right? This is very important for you to understand. Without focusing on sustainable habits, you just go back to a worse place. And then, like I said, it's a cycle that never ends. It's the roller coaster ride you never get off of. And it's not a great one. So you want to work on putting that sustainability together. Yes, you understand the prioritizing the muscle, understanding that you need to focus on sustainability, but also within that makes it all come together is this mindset piece. You have to really shift your thinking around your health. So if you've made excuses in the past why you can't be healthy, and you don't have the greatest attitude, and you often suffer from lack of motivation to do anything with your health, it's like an alarm coming off in your head that should tell you that your mindset really has to shift. So you have to work on that to happen. What can get you to start doing that is really exploring those topics in your mind. How do you really feel about being healthier? Do you see why being healthier and having great shape in your life is going to help you within what you want out of life, right? What is it that you really want? So when you say why is of course maybe a starter to get you to go into thinking more, but you really need to ask yourself, what is it that you really want, right? What is it that you really want? And how does that work within you being healthier? Because often you may have these roadblocks in your mind, but you're not actually really identifying and asking, why do I have those blocks in my head? Why is my attitude to exercise and eating healthy not the same with other areas of my life? And they may not have it any close to the same importance as it is for your health, right? You understand that priorities matter in life, right? But if your mind isn't configured that way, right, and you're not really believing in it, then you're gonna have problems. I mean, your belief into having a healthy lifestyle has to be a 10. It has to be a 10. Because when it is a 10, you will always be able to get back to where you need to be. That doesn't mean that you'll never miss a workout. That doesn't mean that you will never overeat. And you will have so bad nights of sleep, and you may not get enough water in for the day, or you might not be as active as you want, right? Those things are normal, but what it means is you always get back to balance. You always get back to where you should be, because your mind is always going to direct you back. It's like that compass. It's going to get you back on straight, because your thoughts and how you're looking at your action each day are going to align within having the healthy lifestyle you want. So this is why it's very important that you focus on that mindset shifting. And the reason that many are getting away, as I mentioned with some of these things that they're not focusing on, but this is the big one, because this will always get you to be right. It will get you to understand what the bigger picture is. It will make you really aware of everything. You really have all of that mental clarity in your mind when you really focus on it. So focusing on, why this is important. What does the healthy lifestyle look like to you? Really painting that vision for yourself, seeing yourself of what it looks like when you are able to be in that best shape of your life and you have the body you want. What does it look like? What does it feel? What are the things you're able to do now? Who does it really affect in your life that you're able to now influence? Putting all these things together is going to really help. So you do really need to go deeper when you're really evaluating what your mindset is really wanting to be. And you have to focus on it. You have to really work on it. You do have to approach it like anything within what you're doing with changing your transformation, right? You need to understand, how do I put that together so I can keep working on it. It's something that you have to continue to work on. It's not you taking days off where you're not focusing on your mind, because it's very important that you understand your thoughts, what's really going on, and how you can make that difference for yourself. So you really need to focus on that. So it all starts there. You need to make sure that you are having the proper mindset shift to be where you want to be at. So let's recap it. Number one is prioritizing the muscle. Remember, muscles are the very active tissue in your body, has a lot of important functions for yourself, which will help your metabolism stay high of where it needs to be at and help you keep the fat off. And remember, secondly, you need to focus on sustainable habits, right? Those healthy habits need to be sustainable. So you're following a diet that isn't something that you can sustain long term. If you're following workout routines that aren't sustainable, if you're not focused on some of your other healthy habits like getting a great night's sleep and having that be consistent, your hydration, then you're going to have a highly likelihood of falling into that statistic of regaining that weight and staying on that diet cycle. It's something you don't want to have happen. So you need to focus on that sustainability. And lastly, what I just covered is you really need to have a mindset shift. You need to really be a different person when you're working within making these things last long term. Remember, if you don't really believe in it and it's not something that you're going to prioritize going forward and you're not driven to be healthier, you will fall back into those old habits that you've had in the past. But you can do something different about it when you focus on that part of having that mindset be right. So really dive deep into this. I want you to be able to keep that fat off for good. Do not be a statistic, but you have to take action on it. So I would love to hear from you what your big takeaways were. How are you going to use this to be able to keep the fat off for good? Let me know what goals you're working on as well. So be sure to like and subscribe,